radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Oh, what a difference a week makes. Oh, hi, everybody. Don McDonald, still on the road, traveling across America on the Talking Real Money road trip. And today, I am doing the live radio show from Blacksburg, Virginia, the home of Virginia Polytechnic University or something like that. They call it Virginia Tech, the alma mater of my wife. And so we're here, and then we're heading a little further up into Virginia and then Pennsylvania and continuing on across the country until we end up in Seattle in August. And I hope you join me along the way as we talk about money, because that's what the show's about making money and investing it and saving it and then also spending it. We do, from time to time, want to talk about enjoying what you work hard to get. You've worked hard to earn it. You worked harder probably to save it and invest it properly, because that's really a challenge. And I want to help you enjoy the fruits of your labor, so to speak. Yeah, I'm actually going to talk about fruit today. I got a double feature of topics. I call it Of Berries and Banks. We're going to talk about berries and banks, and you can join us to talk about those things or anything else at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. I'm Don McDonald. Tom might join in by phone a little later. He just arrived back in Seattle after flying literally halfway around the world from his visit to Africa and then London and then back to Seattle. So give us a call, 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. Now, one of the things you probably don't know about me, and why should you, is that pretty much the only fruit I really like, I'll eat them, but the only fruit I just adore are berries. I love berries. And it used to be back in the old days, berries, you got them in season. They generally were extraordinary at the time, but you only got them for short periods of time when they were locally in season. Then came all the berry crops from California and from Florida, and those went, they were nationally distributed. And now berries are ubiquitous. They're in every store, everywhere, pretty much all the time. You can always get a berry. You can get a strawberry or a blueberry. Those are the common berries. You can get raspberries most of the time. You can get blackberries. Those are your big four berries. But they have become literally the most popular fruit in America. They've beaten out all the others. People love their berries. But I know, most of the time, the berries you buy in the store are at best mediocre. They're not like a berry you grew in your backyard and you picked it. Oh man, that's a great berry. They're okay. And the reason they're okay is because the good ones have problems. This is from an article in the Wall Street Journal. And I found it fascinating. The good berries they can't ship very far, or they have very small yields, or they have little genetic problems, and it makes them less desirable to a big company like Driscoll, which is the biggest berry company in the world. They do berries. I mean, according to this article, every year they develop and study 125,000 varieties of strawberries to determine what they will sell. But the only one, until recently, that held up enough to ship nationwide and lasted long enough on store shelves was one kind of strawberry, the strawberry you get all the time. But that's changing. And I did not know this, and I'm very excited. One of the things I truly believe about money is that you don't blow it, but you need to spend it for experiences. Like Tom spent it to go to Africa. Okay? But I'm talking about baby experiences, little tiny experiences, like a really great strawberry. Well, in many stores now, and in more stores upcoming, there are really, really good berries now. And I'll tell you what they're called and what you're going to pay for them. But, I think it's worth it. 855-935-TALK is our number. Give me a call.
Tom and Don are talking real money. Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
And real money encompasses almost everything you do with money, which is why I'm talking about berries. Strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, berries. The kind of things you eat for snacks and breakfast that we eat a lot of. And generally speaking, they're mediocre. They're okay. Sometimes you find some really good ones, but it's difficult to find them consistently. And people do make great berries. They just don't ship well. They have problems. And so the folks at Driscoll's, the biggest berry bunch in the country, or in the world, I think, they make a new type of berry now. And they're going to bring it out in all their various berries. I think they now have strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries. And they're called the Sweetest Batch. That's the branding. And while a regular pound of strawberries, I just looked it up, about $4, $4. An 11-ounce container of those same berries, strawberries, might cost you $10. So it's it's about a 60% premium. But sometimes that enjoyment is worth it. Do you want to drink a cheap wine just to have a wine, or do you want to drink a good wine? Do you want to drink, a Pabst Blue Ribbon, or do you want a microbrew? We spend a little more money to enjoy ourselves a little bit more, and that's a good use for money. Spending less is a good thing. And we're going to talk a little bit later about banks and how banks are going to have to start charging you less, which if they charge you less for some things, maybe you'll have more for berries. 855-935-TALK is our phone number, 855-935-8255. And we got lines open for you right now. It's a good day to call. Steve, thanks for calling. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Steve.
I'm glad Tom got back safely and glad to be on Talking Real Berries.
Talking real berries. We'll talk about anything. Yep. What's up?
Hey, quick question. I agree 100% with the Jack Bogle philosophy of don't peak.
Mm-hmm.
However, I listened to Clark and a couple other financial podcasts, and I know in the credit card world, if you have fraudulent activity on your credit card and you don't catch it within 60 days, if you don't see it, that tough noogies. And I was wondering if it is the same for most 401 programs. So, for example, if my 401 was compromised and I follow the Jack Bogle don't look, and I don't realize it's been compromised, is there a chance that money's just gone?
No, but it's a different, we're dealing with a totally different set of rules because credit card fraud is rampant. It's everywhere. 401k fraud or brokerage account fraud or whatever it might be is rare. And so, therefore, there aren't special statutes that apply. It falls under the regular old mail or wire fraud or just plain old financial fraud statutes of the states or of the federal government. And 401ks, because of the control of the Labor Department, are going to fall under federal statutes, which I believe, I think you have a 10-year statute of limitations, but that's from when you discover, I believe, and I'm not an attorney, okay, but I believe that's from when you discover the fraud. You're in really good shape. If somebody cheats you on that scale, You're dealing with a completely different set of rules and regs, and it would probably you would certainly be able to, if it's a 401k that's under the Labor Department, you would be able to bring a complaint to the Labor Department for probably a very long time. And the don't peek thing is not never look. I don't think that's what we meant or Jack meant when he said it. It's don't look every day. Don't look every statement, right. Even. I look at mine I probably look at my accounts quarterly. And I do something with them annually. I don't mess with them. But I have not heard of, boy, I'm trying to think of any major 401ks or brokerage fraud I've ever heard of. I can't remember the last time. So this would not be something that would be on my radar. Pardon me?
Yeah, I was involved in that T-Mobile. T-Mobile breach a while back, and I get emails probably once every few weeks that my information's been compromised, and so I set up further protection on my 401. I use my voice as my password, but with AI and all of that going on, I was wondering about that.
I don't think you sound like you're doing the right things. And you weren't alone. I was part of the T-Mobile breach. I was part of the Equifax breach. I mean, I get scam calls all the time, and you did the right thing. You're protecting yourself. I mean, after I've gotten as many calls as I've gotten, I froze my my credit files, and I can just reactivate them if I need to get credit. But you're doing. It sounds like you're doing the right stuff. You're doing the right stuff. We can't be too paranoid.
Right. I had spoken with Tom a while back, a little over $1 million in the 401, and he suggested that I had a little bit of Hodgepodge-itis in my 401, and he suggested just a targeted retirement fund. I'm 55, and I just couldn't do the whole targeted retirement, so I did 75% targeted retirement and 25% in a dimensional emerging markets. So still hoping for a little growth.
There you go. You're hoping for a lot of growth. If you 25 to emerging markets sounds a bit high, though. I might split that up between like a global small cap value and emerging markets. It'll still get you aggressiveness, but it'll get you better diversification.
I don't have much of an option for global in mine.
Oh, okay. Okay, but you do have dimensional emerging
brokerage account.
You have dimensional emerging markets? Wow, that's surprising. All right. Well, no, it sounds fun.
DIFEMX.
Yep. No,
so,
that sounds
anyway,
good.
Hope you're all dried out.
Oh, I am. I'm actually in my sister-in-law's house because she has good internet, and the trailer's sitting down by the New River because the internet there is terrible. Yeah, and I'm all dried out. Thanks so much for the call. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care. Thank you. We love that you're a part of it. 855-935-TALK is our phone number, 855-935-8255. I am currently traveling across the country in an old vintage Airstream trailer. And by the way, if you see the Airstream, you're driving around, you see the Airstream with the big old Talking Real Money road trip sign. It looks kind of like an old interstate highway sign. If you take a picture of it, your passenger, and send it to us at talkingrealmoney.com. Just send it on the contact form there. We'll send you a T-shirt. We'll send you a Talking Real Money T-shirt. We'll mail one out to you. And the next stop where we hope to see people is in Madison, Virginia, coming up soon, and then in Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. Going to stop in near Charm, Ohio, in the middle of Berlin, Ohio, kind of in Amish country there. And then, of course, on the 20th of July, Tom and I both are going to be in Madison, Wisconsin, where we're hosting a cookout in the park for Talking Real Money listeners. And already we've got about 25 people have signed up for it. So it's going to cap at 40. That's all they'll allow us to have in the park facility. So Go to talkingrealmoney.com if you're interested. Just click on the Learn More button there on the front page. We'll be right back.
Tom and Don are talking real money. For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Call me up. I'm on the road and talking money with you at 855-935-8255. It's a live show on Saturdays from noon to 2 Pacific, 3 to 5 Eastern, every Saturday on Northwest News Radio in the Seattle area. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday, it becomes a podcast. Program note, there will not be a Monday podcast for the next several weeks because I am taking those off kind of as... I'm taking my vacation in little tiny snippets because somebody has to put the podcast up. So that's me. There's no one else to do it. If I die, there will be no podcast. So everybody needs to keep me healthy. So there will be no Monday podcast for the next several weeks as I'm kind of on a semi-summer vacation, but also a very much working summer vacation as I'm heading out to eventually the Seattle area where I'm going to spend a few weeks and then turn around and drive back across the country again. So give me a call, 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. And Herb, you're up. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hey, Don, it's Herb Weisbaum from checkbook.org. Was hearing your call
Herb
about
Weisbaum. Oh, my gosh.
Happens. Yeah, I listen.
All
Usually
right.
listen when Tom's on, but that's all right. I had to put up with you. The answer to the
He
question
really
that we
loves
answered
me,
at
folks. He
checkbook.org
really does.
Your investments are probably not protected. They're nowhere near protected as checking, as credit cards. We did a story, and I'm just going to read you the one quote.
Sure.
Unfortunately, while your credit card accounts and bank deposits are largely protected from unauthorized transactions, your investment and retirement assets may not be so much. If someone hijacks your credit card or uses your identity info to create bogus accounts and chops until your credit card score drops, you're usually not liable for those losses, but your investment accounts enjoy little to no regulatory protection from fraud losses, which can leave your life savings vulnerable in the age of identity fraud. And we actually talked about a story given to us by the Identity Theft Resource Center of an investor who lost hundreds of thousands of dollars a couple of years ago after he unwittingly downloaded malware onto his computer.
Oh, now, see, I was thinking about it from a totally different perspective. Thank you for switching my perspective, because I was thinking about it from the perspective of the custodian committing fraud.
Yep.
You're talking about, hacking in. Okay, that makes absolute sense that there is very little protection there. Yeah.
And if people want to read it, it's checkbook.org, and just search for identity theft. Are your investment and retirement accounts protected? The other advice you gave was spot on. Don't wait about it. Freeze your accounts. That will stop bad guys from using your information to open bank accounts and credit cards and that kind of thing. It's real easy to do. You can thaw it as soon as you need to do it. You have to do it all three: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Absolutely have to do that. And I talked to the folks a number of years ago at Microsoft, and they said if you put two-factor authentication on your accounts, that's where you got to get a code to put it in to prove it's really you. Two-factor authentication with the worst password in the world, 1234 ABC, is better than no two-factor authentication and the best password in the world, basically, that people do. So that can stop 99% of hacking. So you've got to do 2FA when your accounts, especially monetary ones, allow you to do it.
That was a question I was going to ask. I do two-factor on almost everything now because everything I've read says that two-factor, it may be a little annoying, but it's not that big a deal, particularly with like the iPhone. The iPhone will fill in for you. It's very cool. So it's not that complicated. Right. But what is there anything else? Because this, for those of you who don't know, listening elsewhere around the country, Herb Weisbaum is one of the top experts on consumer fraud in the country. And so, Herb, is there something else that we could be doing with our investment accounts other than two-factor to help protect them from crooked people accessing them?
I think that's the number one thing you can do at this time. The other thing is be careful, what you do with your computer and where you go. The case we quote in the story, they got malware on their computer. If you just willy-nilly click links and get malware on your computer or your smartphone, which, everybody's clicking links now, not knowing what they're clicking and where they're going, and that malware gets onto your phone and you have no idea it's there. It's not like the old days, it'd slow down the computer and you'd crash all the time. Malware is pretty small files now, and they know what they're doing. They can get your passwords for everything and defeat all this stuff if they can get into your device. So you've really got to be careful and make sure you have security software on your devices, including your smartphones. Those are the little mini computers that run your life. There is software that protects those as well. You have to have security software on your smartphones as well. So just be careful.
And be really skeptical of any emails you get from an institution. As a matter of fact, it's probably just a good idea to, if you get an unsolicited call, to call back the number that you have on your account information and don't even talk to them. Herb, thanks so much for helping out. I really, truly appreciate it. 855-935-TALK is our phone number, 855-935-8255.
Tom and Don are talking real money. Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
And the reason we talk about money is because it is really, truly important to you. You will deal with it. Whether you like it or not, you're going to deal with it. And I want to help you deal with it better. Tom and I both do that. Tom is going to be back on the show next Saturday. And I'm here with you for now at 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. So give me a call and let me try and help you muddle through this mess that we call money, managing money. 855-935-8255. Barb, you're up. Welcome to the program.
Hi there.
Hi,
yeah,
Barb.
this is sort of a money question, but then sort of not a money question.
Okay.
And I've asked different people this question, and one, thinking, am I thinking on the right path or not? Okay, you're getting to the end of your life, and you have grandchildren, and you have children, and your great grandchildren. And some of them never call at all. Would you?
Yeah, they never call. They never write.
Never.
Yeah.
You never hear from them at all, even when you've had health issues. Yeah. They just totally ignore you.
Well, the heck with them, then.
Would you cut them out of your will?
I don't believe that anybody is entitled just because of genetic predisposition to another person's money. I just am not a big fan of automatic legacies. I am a big fan of helping people while they're alive, rather than giving it to them after you're dead. I love that. People who need help.
That's another thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
May I throw this in?
Yes.
Yeah, that's another thing. I have done that, and I sent one of them a $10,000 check, and I heard nothing.
Okay, now see, that's different.
Nothing.
That's different than sending them a check. I'm talking about those times. For example, I've got a daughter who wants to change careers, and it requires some training, and she really can't afford it. I'll pay for the training. When somebody truly needs it, you're there for them. But if they don't know, if you send them
just a check sent.
Yeah, don't just send them money. Don't just send them money. No.
Well, I just thought, I can get rid of some. You're allowed to give, people $17,000 or $18,000 every year.
Yeah,
Not that I have done that often, but I thought, I'll just and see what happens. And
here's
like
my
I said,
thinking.
One person I didn't.
Here's my thinking. Again, they don't deserve it just because they're your offspring or your offspring's offspring. There's no that's baked into a very feudal, ancient way of living. There are great needs in the world, massive, great needs.
I know.
And you can help yourself and other people along the way by, for example, when you're going to take a required minimum distribution that you don't need from an IRA or 401k, do a qualified charitable distribution, get a tax break, and the heck with the kids.
Right.
No, you're not obligated.
That's what I do already. I already do that.
You're not obligated.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. And some people feel, well, if you would give some of them money and you didn't give the other ones, that could create hard feelings. Well,
no,
I'm
actually,
sorry, but...
I think if you do it right, it's a lesson. If in the will you say you're getting money because X, and you're not getting money because of Y. That what that says is your actions have consequences. And maybe you tell them that now. You send a note to your kids, an actual handwritten thing.
You and I are on the same wavelength.
Yeah, you write a note and you say, okay, here's the deal. If you help your mother/grandmother/great aunt or whatever, or at least you communicate with me, then I know you care about me and I'll care enough about you in return to possibly leave you something. There are no guarantees in life. If you don't, that just tells me you don't care, and therefore that will go to someone who cares more.
Yeah, you and I are on the same wavelength.
Yeah, give them a chance.
Definitely on that aspect.
Give them a chance to make it right. Maybe they're just not thinking and they need a little kick in the behind.
Yeah, well, these are not, okay, yeah. So thank you so much. As I said, I know it's really not a money question, but...
It is. It's definitely a money question.
Well, an investing question.
No, I don't want just invest. I'm bored with just investing questions. I like these a lot better.
Okay,
Thank you. Barb.
Okay, thank you so much.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and give your money to those who need it and or appreciate it. It's your money. Or, hey, better idea, spend it on yourself. 855-935-TALK. That's our number.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Do you suffer from Hodgepodge-itis? I'm Don McDonald, and Hodgepodge-itis is a disease of your investment portfolio whose symptoms include lots of stocks, loads of random loaded mutual funds, and maybe an annuity or two. Most who suffer from Hodgepodge-itis dread opening their quarterly portfolio statements. They feel lost and confused. Investing seems overwhelming and the financial future uncertain. If you believe you suffer from Hodgepodge-itis, see a 100% fiduciary investment advisor immediately. A proper diagnosis is the first step to creating a portfolio with a purpose based on a personal plan. Start on the road to recovery now by scheduling a free meeting with an Appella advisor at TalkingRealMoney.com. There is no cost, obligation, or high-pressure sales pitch. Take the first step at TalkingRealMoney.com or call 800-386-3004. Hodgepodge-itis is not a real disease, but treating it has been shown to improve mood, reduce fear, and even lead to a brighter financial future. Results may vary.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
There are a lot of things I could be doing on a Saturday afternoon, but there's nothing I like doing more than hanging out with you for a couple of hours, talking about the thing I've been talking about with people on the radio since 1988. I'm old. Money. We talk about money. I'm Don McDonald. Give me a call, 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255, and you can ask or talk about anything that is even vaguely money-oriented. Cindy, thanks for calling. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi. I just missed part of the conversation about the identity theft and all that, but that did make me want to call you, Don. Just this last week, my husband was telling me, we need to get this identity theft, blah, 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 and on he goes. Mm-hmm. We have about $1.5 million all invested with Vanguard, mutual funds, IRAs, and CDs. We have the two-step verification logins. We have our credit frozen with all three companies. And I check our Experian report probably twice a month at least. I looked into the LifeLock, for example, and I thought it was rather pricey. And in reading it, it basically said that it's going to do the same things that I've done.
Yep.
Like freeze your credit, do this, keep an eye on your... So I told my husband, what's the point? I'm already doing all this. Am I wrong?
Nope. I do not believe you're wrong. Okay. I really think LifeLock is it's a means by which to, I'm sure it's great for people who won't do what you did or won't do what I've done. But what we did isn't that hard. And they don't really add that much because if you do the things that we did, their insurance isn't going to be necessary. So I think it's kind of overpriced fraud insurance is all it boils down to. I have never been a fan of them. Years ago, I was even asked to do commercials for them, and I wouldn't because I just don't think it feels all that necessary. I think it's an unnecessary attempt to take advantage of people's fear.
Okay.
That's me.
Yeah, I understand. How safe do you think Vanguard is as a company? My husband tells me extremely safe. I
think you're right. I think they're as safe as they can be as a company. But as Herb said, when Herb called in, the only fear you really have, I don't think you have any fear at all from Vanguard messing up. None. The only fear that you might have is the one you're taking care of with the two-factor authentication, is that somebody would try to hack into your Vanguard account and steal some money from it. But with two-factor, that becomes very, very... If you have a strong password and that secondary factor, that authentication through your phone, the odds of them getting in become practically non-existent. They're quite small.
Okay.
And you don't need all this other stuff.
Okay. Another quick question is we have 40,000 in I-bonds, which we bought, 2 or 3 years ago when they were real high percentage rate.
Yeah, me too.
We have 20,000 each.
Me too.
And now I looked into it, and now we're getting like a puny percentage rate. And so I said to my husband, well, we should just sell that, and we should just buy CDs. And he's like, no.
No, your husband's right. No, you're not getting a paltry amount. The reason I liked those is because they were, as opposed to tips, they were actually, it was a more simplified way of having a little bit of an inflation hedge. That's what they should be. It's just a little bit of an inflation hedge. That's really, really safe. Leave it alone. You don't need to mess with them. It's if you moved it.
Yeah, he tried to. Yeah.
If you moved it, you'd make about nothing.
Puny.
Yeah, it's tiny. It's really tiny.
That's what he was telling me. You're looking at a puny amount. You're talking like $400.
Yep.
Whatever.
You're talking berry change. You're talking about expensive berry change.
Yeah.
So let it go. It's a nice little inflation hedge. I have some about the same amount as you, and I'm just not doing anything with them. And I will probably never do anything with them.
Okay. Well, we've just recently converted a lot of our high risk stocks in our Vanguard to CDs.
Why?
Just because we're too heavily invested in stocks.
Oh, okay. So now, wait, did you do it for that reason, or did you do it because you're getting more money in safe money?
Well, we're both 67 now, and my husband said, we don't want this 1.5 crashing on us. Okay. We don't need to take it out right now. We're not taking our Social Security right now. He's working part-time still. But I guess to be safe.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do 2 or 3 years from now? If the market's...
I don't know.
Yeah, you need a plan. You shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be just doing it because you feel like it. It has to be part of a process of reducing your risk gradually.
Well, we have 300 in CDs now.
300,000 in CDs. Okay.
Out of the 1.5, 300 is in CDs.
Okay.
So I guess that's not really a lot.
Well, it's 20%.
But we also have about 350,000 just in mutual funds that we are going to have a lot of capital gain tax liability on, that we're going to try to work around that and get it out gradually.
What is your equity to fixed income or CD ratio? What percentage of your $1.5 million is in the stock market versus in bonds or CDs?
I'm not at home. I'm in my car, but my husband does have that on an Excel sheet. Mm-hmm. And I want to say we don't have much in bonds. We did buy a lot of bonds a couple years ago, and then they just fell apart, and my husband got upset and transferred them out. I mean,
you guys are doing what people do. You're doing what people do. You're reacting to things that have happened. You are not planning. You need a portfolio plan, not a reaction. Those bonds should still be in your portfolio because you sold them after they went down. You didn't sell them before they went down. I guarantee it. You sold them after they went down. You said they fell apart and then you sold them.
Well, he sold his. I didn't tell mine. I think I personally have about 150 in the balanced fund, and then we have those 40,000 in I bonds, and I don't think he has any bonds right now. Okay. So less than 200,000 is in bonds if you count those two.
And again, I'm gonna sound like a stupid broken record, but you need a plan for your total portfolio. Your family portfolio, the $1.5 million, that says, based on our needs for the future and our tolerance for risk, those are the two most important things you need to figure out. How much will you need in the future? Can this portfolio provide it? If so, I can take less risk. Or I need more in the future. This portfolio can't provide that more. I need to take more risk. That you need to figure out first, and then you need to figure out how much risk you're comfortable taking, and then you build that asset allocation based on that. You don't try to react to markets. You don't try to predict markets. You don't try to place it in the right place at the right time. You just build that proper diversification, and then you rebalance it every year. It's hard to do, but once you do it, it's simple. Tom
and Don are talking real money. For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
855-935-8255. Call that number on Saturdays, and we'll talk about money with you. I'm Don McDonald. Tom is getting back soon, and we are talking about money, small and large, from the price of berries to the fees that banks charge. And the head of this is from the Wall Street Journal yesterday, the head of America's biggest bank, which is Chase, Marianne Lake, is threatening customers, basically trying to scare customers, telling the Wall Street Journal, and through it, its customers, that you better watch out, because if the government gets its way and reduces those onerous late fees and overdraft fees, late fees on credit cards and overdraft fees on bank accounts, if the consumer, the CPFB, this Consumer Protection Financial Bureau, or CFPB, Financial Protection Bureau, if they get their way with the new $8 and $3 caps on late fees and overdrafts, that they're going to take away all your free checking. It's fascinating that these companies do this. It's as if the average $35 overdraft fee and $32 credit card late fee are that's their entire bottom line, which is absolute baloney. The bulk of their bottom line is the spread between the 19.9% they charge on the credit card and the 4% or 5% they pay to borrow the money. That's where they make most of the money. They make money on their spreads. The other stuff is just a little extra money around the edges. But to tell people that your free services are going to go away because the government is trying to make it more fair. Oh, and this is the incredible disingenuousness of it. They said, quote, the people who will be most impacted are the ones who can least afford to be, and access to credit will be harder to get. Who are the people who are most hurt by late fees and overdraft fees that are absolutely onerous? Who gets hurt by those? Is it the big customers at the bank? Is it the wealthy people? No, absolutely not. It's the smaller customers. So the reality is they'll be fine, and we all know they'll be fine, but they don't want to release any bit of extra profit around the margins that they can. And so don't fall for that. The fact of the matter is, really poor people generally don't get free checking anyway, unless you have regular payroll coming in or you have big balances. I know I had a savings account with Bank of America. I didn't even know if my balance got too low that I would be paying monthly fees on it. I didn't want money in that lousy little savings account. It turned out I was paying a fee. I stopped it. I shut it down. So they're not telling the whole truth. They're trying to frighten you, and don't let them do it. Well, we have for those of you listening on the radio, we got another hour, or it'll be tomorrow's podcast coming up. You can call me at 855-935-TALK, and also, please follow along on the trip. I'm, right now I'm in Blacksburg, Virginia, heading to further north in Virginia as I head across the country. And you can find out all kinds of stuff about that and listen to the podcasts all the time at TalkingRealMoney.com.
The opinions and views expressed in this podcast were current on the date recorded. Opinions, estimates, forecasts, and statements of financial market trends that are based on current market conditions constitute our judgment and are subject to change without notice, including any forward-looking estimates or statements which are based on certain expectations and assumptions.
Although information and opinions given have been obtained from or based on sources believed to be reliable, no warranty or representation is made as to their correctness, completeness, or accuracy.
Information presented on the podcast is not personalized investment advice from Appellate Wealth. The views and strategies described may not be suitable for everyone. This podcast does not identify all the risks, direct or indirect, or other considerations which might be material to you when entering any financial transaction. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and profitable results cannot be guaranteed. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. The podcast is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Appellate Wealth, a fee-only registered investment advisor.
Please see Appellate Wealth's ADV Part 2A on our website for information regarding Appellate's fees and services.
Appellate Capital, LLC, DBA Appellate Wealth, is an investment advisory firm registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The firm only transacts business in the states where it is properly registered or excluded or exempt from registration requirements. Registration with the SEC or any state securities authority does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Appellate does not provide tax or legal advice, and nothing either stated or implied here should be inferred as providing such advice. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and important disclosure related to performance of any specific index or fund quoted in this podcast. I think I need a nap.